been done to ensure that he's been resuscitated. Let's now bring in a public health physician, Dr. Tuyi Mebawandu, who to break down this development for us. Dr. Tuyi, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good evening.
Good evening. So earlier there were reports that Junior Pope had died, and later there were reports that he had been confirmed dead. But what we are hearing, confirmed to be alive rather. What we are hearing now from reporter is that that confirmation has not been made by any medical doctor, but that they are trying to resuscitate him. What does it take, or what will it take for them to be able to say, oh, he's alive, or God forbid, which is not what we are praying for, or to certify that he is dead?
Well, thank you. It is important that the public is aware of, one, the protocol for certifying somebody dead, and the protocol for ensuring that we perform resuscitation. Now, we understood the story behind Junior Pope. The fact that the boat he was using to cross River Niger after doing some filming capsized and he drowned. That was the earlier report, and there was a report that, in fact, that he has gone. But what is important is that, first and foremost, the person who was responsible for picking him out of the water the first time ought to understand the basic findings in somebody who is not alive. Now, the basic finding for every layman is look at the chest. Is the chest moving? Now, if the chest is, no matter how small, no matter how irregular, if the chest is moving, that means that the person can still be resuscitated. Secondly, we must all learn how to feel pulse. Okay? Because the first thing that if somebody is drowned, you have to take part of the water, feel the pulse. The pulse is just below the thumb on any of the hands, on any of the palms, just below the thumb there. At the wrist joint, just below the thumb. Feel the pulse. If you cannot feel the pulse, put your hand near the chest and feel whether the chest is beating. Or you can put your ear near the chest to feel whether the chest is pounding. So when you hear the pounding of the heart, or feeling of the pulse, or the movement, you know that the person is still alive. That is very critical. Even when the person is not breathing and the heart is still pounding the chest, when you put your ear near it, know that the person can still be resuscitated. The second critical thing is to actually learn what to do to somebody who has drowned. Of course, the common type of drowning we know in this part of the world is what we call the wet drowning, where water enters the lung and blocks the supply of oxygen from the lung to the tissue or even to the blood. So when that happens, there's a clogging of the lung without water. So the thing is that a pressure or a positioning of pressure to take the water out, and then you give what we call life-saving breath to the person becomes important. It is very essential, we have said it several times, that everybody should learn how to do the basic cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Now, if you are saying, when do we say somebody is dead? First and foremost, there are critical things. Absence of breathing for a specific period of time. Of course, some people say as much as 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And then absence of pulse. There's no pulse at all. The edge is dilated and fixed, which, of course, the body is cold and stiff. That is when somebody is dead. But the confirmation of being dead can only be reserved for medical people who will look at all that details and tell you that this person is dead. So, in case of this gentleman, it's obvious that there's some mix-ups in terms of what is possible or what is not possible. But from the videos we're seeing too many crowds, too many confusion. And it's important at this point for a doctor to step out and give a clear-cut information.
Absolutely. I mean, just to quell, the air of uncertainty. But I also want to ask, what could be going on now behind the scene in terms of efforts to resuscitate him?
Thank you. First and foremost, what happens is that when somebody is drowned, the compromise of oxygen at the level of the lung and exchange of oxygen between the lung and the blood system and the tissue. So, if by chance they need to re-establish breathing and circulation, because breathing circulation, becomes important. ABC, airways, breathing, circulation. Airways need to be cleared, breathing needs to be established, circulation needs to be affirmed. So after that, because what happens is that shortage of oxygen destroys a lot of things in the body. It alters the dynamics of the blood flow, the dynamics of metabolism going on at every level of the cells. What we don't want to happen is that we don't want the brain to be short of oxygen. Because when the brain is short of oxygen, the damage can be more permanent and will be more glaring. So what we do is that after that, establishing that resuscitation, what is needed now is, one, you have to put oxygen in the nose of the person so that the person can have good supply of oxygen. Oxygen by nasal catheter or by face mask can actually be given while the respiration is going on. Secondly, you need to look at the chest and ascertain that there are no water still hanging around the chest. In that regard, you need to give a diuretic, something that will pull the water, any water out of the chest. You have to supply energy needs for the person. Anyhow, you need to give the energy and keep the person. You have to keep the person warm. Obviously, you have to keep the person warm. You don't want to create a situation of coldness in the person's body where too much of energy will be needed, which the body may not be able to supply. Keep the person warm, assure circulation, give oxygen, remove excess fluid, and check for other conditions that may be. While you keep away as many people from him as possible.
Exactly, and that speaks to Dr. Tui. I think you said that earlier. Just people crowding around. People, when we've seen that over and over again, when people are involved in accidents like this, people crowding around. We hope that first thing that comes to mind will always be safety. Thank you so much for talking to us. We're hoping for the best news